Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy is one of the greatest poetic metaphors in literary history. The Inferno especially doesn't just represent the consequence of sin. It represents the human condition.
Dante Alighieri is often regarded as the father of the Italian language. The Divine Comedy was the first piece of literature to be written in the Florentine vernacular as opposed to Greek or Latin. It was something that people of every social class could read and understand.
Divine Comedy was one of the most vivid descriptions of the afterlife, and not just hell, but purgatory and heaven too. And it was such an incredible and imaginative feat that as someone living in our time, you can't help but wonder what Dante must think of the real afterlife now that he's passed on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the stage and give a warm welcome for tonight's performer, Dante Alighieri.
Woo! I think a warm welcome's the only one you can give down here, you know what I mean? Nah, I'm just messing with you. Anyway, I'm glad to be here. I love being in hell, folks. You know why? Because it's the only stage that gets hotter when the lights are off. Of all the places in the afterlife to do stand-up, I think hell's probably my favorite, because it doesn't take much to get the audience fired up. Oh, it's so evil down here. It's so evil. It's so evil down here that even my microphone head's spinning around.
Hello everyone. My name is Virgil, famed Roman poet, philosopher, and full-time hell tour guide. And sometimes part-time nursing home assistant. There's a lot of old people in limbo. You'd be very, very surprised. Anyway, that's beside the point. The real reason why we're here is for my good friend Dante Alighieri, who's known on Earth for his famed poem, The Divine Comedy, which featured a certain wise, dashing Roman mentor. Here in the afterlife, though, we've come to know him as something completely different. A stand-up comedian.
You know, my friend Virgil was telling me there's a lot of space to rent in Limbo. The prices do look really good. The only thing is, I don't know if I could get comfortable in those houses. I mean, they're only built 3 feet tall because everyone in Limbo walks around like this. How low can you go?
What led to this sudden transformation? Why would one of history's most serious and distinguished writers decide to change his career so drastically? There are questions Mr. Alighieri himself cannot answer. So as a service to his countless critics, admirers, and fellow literary icons, I have taken it upon myself to solve this great mystery. And also to get out of my part-time job, but that's also beside the point. Don't tell anyone. So let's start with the basics, Dante. How did you get involved in stand-up, and how is that going for you right now?
Actually, I'm one of the only 2 famous writers to go straight to heaven. The other one was Oscar Wilde, of course. And I gotta say, as an insider, it is really, really boring up there. I mean, you live in a place where there's absolutely no day-to-day conflicts whatsoever, and the only thing you can do with your time is sit around on a cloud and let your mind wander. So then one day I'm walking around and joking about the 24-hour harp players, you know, and my girlfriend Beatrice says, "Why don't you just take your whining somewhere else?" So I did. I went on tour.
And now you're performing on stages all over the afterlife?
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be honest here. The further down from heaven you go, the more annoying and bizarre things are to comment on. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be here in Purgatory tonight. Had a hell of a time getting here, though. Big crowd tonight. Anybody getting cured for envy?
I am!
So I guess it doesn't matter you have a bad seat. No, I'm just messing with you. I have nothing against people with their eyes sewn shut. Everybody who reads my poetry tries to sew their eyes shut.
So what do other writers think of your move to stand-up?
Well, I've gotten mixed reviews. I mean, sure, some writers like my stand-up. You like it. But, you know, some don't.
Oh yeah, I love Dante Alighieri. He's my favorite comedian, hands down. You know, not many people can do a complete 180 like him and still be influential. The boy's a real talent.
And how many times have you seen his act?
Are you mocking me?
He has neither heat, affection, limb, nor beauty that make his riches pleasant. Were the fountain of his mind clear again, I wouldn't water an ass at it.
Oi, he's making a mockery of his own words. He's humiliating the whole literary community.
Leave me alone.
My biggest problem with Dante doing stand-up comedy is that he's overexposing himself, and that could seriously hurt his career.
You know, a lot of people ask me, why'd you go back to Earth after the first time you visited the afterlife? I'll tell you. Because all three places wouldn't let me stay. Hell said I wasn't bad enough, purgatory was full, and you guys in heaven don't let politicians in.
What do you think of Dante's stand-up act?
It sounds radical, man.
Have you seen it?
No, dude.
Oh my God, Dante. Isn't he a little charmer? He's so cute. Italian's in this year. I call him my little Olive Garden because he seems to be everywhere these days, and I'd love to see his Olive Garden, if you know what I mean.
There's a rumor going around purgatory that you can get your sentence reduced if you see Dante for an hour.
Who do you know who said that?
I think it's just me, man.
So what did Ernest Hemingway say about my stand-up?
Well, we were going to interview him, William Faulkner, and Hunter S. Thompson, but that didn't quite pan out.
So how did I end up in heaven when I actually died? Well, according to the big man, my girlfriend Beatrice and the Virgin Mary actually both put in a good word for me. So ironically, my death was the first time in my life when I actually had friends in high places.
What do you think motivates you to go into stand-up? You can't be doing this for the fun of it.
Well, no. I mean, I'm sure I've got a deeper incentive behind it. I mean, I can't be doing all this just to make myself look like an idiot. But I don't really know what's pushing me to keep at it. I get free meals.
He is a black gizzard monger of petty profit. He's an uncouth rapscallion of degenerated taste. He revels in self-indulgent self-mockery.
He's a stupid bloody sot. That's what he is.
I suspect that Dante feels typecast from writing the Divine Comedy, and he doesn't know what else to write about. Too much publicity will do that to your career.
Get out of my house.
I want to have dinner ready by the time my act's finished.
You know, I actually get most of my material from my original Divine Comedy notes. Looking back on them, I gave Hell and Purgatory some pretty detailed descriptions. I didn't really see the humor in them like I do now. I mean, I guess it wouldn't have hurt to try to see the humor, right?
Yeah, I mean, everything's funnier in retrospect. You know, when we went down there and all the way, I didn't, you know. I got to the excommunicated part, but that was about it. But, you know, looking back on it now, I find it hilarious, you know.
Homer has got to be my all-time biggest fan. He's been to so many shows that he's practically going on tour with me. It's nice to know I've developed a following since I've started doing stand-up, especially from someone who's that famous.
Do you ever feel that Homer overshadows you when he comes to your shows? I mean, the guy is a living legend, so to speak. So when he's in your audience with a whole bunch of people around him, does that ever bother you?
Well, the nice thing about Homer is that he has no idea how much attention he actually draws to himself. So yeah, people are excited to see him at first. But that kind of cools off after a little while.
Yeah, yesterday a former school teacher asked me to sign her bosoms.
Her bosoms?
Yeah.
What was that like?
Squishy.
Oh my God, what a blind as a bat, brain dead has-been. Do you want to know a secret? My last poem, The Aeneid, was lifted completely from the Odyssey. I tricked that stupid Harry Gyro into signing away the story rights of the Odyssey. I just said, hey, I want your autograph! Oh my god, I even gave him a copy of the contract, and he doesn't even know what it is. Idiot. I understand William Shakespeare went to see your act once.
You could say that.
So they got you here in purgatory, carrying boulders around with your faces in the dirt, and they tell you it's all for your own good? Jeez, and I thought only Democrats were that tortured and led on.
Stay thy dull-edged words, illiterate loiterer!
Bill?
Thou art a fawning schemes mate!
I spoke it to that fly-bitten boggart, and I gnawed on his soul as though I were a worm of conscience.
He heckled me! Thou art an impertinent clay-brained scallion, a vicious maw upon the brow of decency, a venom-milk-livered strumpet! Thou wouldn't eat dead vomit up and how'st to find it! Feminist rebellion!
Blow me. I don't know why he hates me so much. I mean, seriously, he's probably giving me a million reasons why. I just can't understand a word he says.
Does Shakespeare's behavior bother you then?
What do you mean?
Does it make you question your move to stand-up?
Well, I don't want to say it does, but...
He's only got right and serious work and not humour. And the sooner he realises that...
Oh, it is I, the ghost of Christmas present. Come in and know me better now.
Shut your noise, you! Bloomin' ghosts always bugging me now that I'm dead.
You know, Satan's always the best guy to do stand-up for. He's a tough critic, but he's got Judas Lodge so far down his throat he can't even heckle me.
Boo.
You know, as a comedian, it is pretty easy to roast a guy who's frozen up to his waist in ice. Matter of fact, it's the only roasting you can do down here.
You suck!
Of course I suck. This is hell. You think they'd really book Mark Twain for you people?
Hey, who you calling you people?
Hey, take it easy, pal. You don't want to get sent upstairs for wrath, do you? Oh, it's real mature.
Are people ever surprised to see you in heaven?
Yes, oh my stars, all the time. But I tell them, this is what I tell them, don't worry, I may be up here, but I am still flaming.
Sure, I do get a little tired of being blind sometimes. You know, back on Earth, I used to be blind, and it was a little tough sometimes, but now that I'm dead, it should be, there should be a cure for it, because I'm dead now. I'm not even a human. Because I'm blind.
Get out of my house! Out! Get out! Out! Out!
Well, that didn't quite pan out. Let's go to Shirley Jackson's house. Or Sylvia Plath before she kills herself again. Okay?
I was wondering the other day, how many guys named Guido does it take to change a light bulb? But then I realized I'd never find out because there aren't enough light bulbs to go around. Anybody here not named Guido? Didn't think so. I cannot believe how many Guidos they crammed into the afterlife. This is insane. I mean, this place is going to go into complete overload once those Jersey Shore kids die.
I think I figured out why I'm doing this comedy tour. I was on stage the other day and it hit me. All these famous writers, all of us I should say, we spent our entire lives writing the most depressing, resentful propaganda we could think of. And in the end, that's all we left behind. No wonder everybody who comes into the afterlife is all worried and bitter. It's all because of us. We taught them to think that way. And I did the worst thing of all. I told them exactly what they had to worry about. That's not why I wrote the Divine Comedy. I wanted it to have the opposite effect, but I went a little too far with the Inferno. The bad parts outweighed the good ones. I think that's why I'm doing this comedy tour now. I may not be great at it, but I gotta lighten the mood somehow.
They turned along the left bank in a line, but before they started, all of them together had stuck their pointed tongues out as a sign to their captain that they wished permission to pass, and he hath made a trumpet of his ass. That, my friends, was a fart joke. Always knew he had it in him. So proud. And what are your final thoughts on Dante?
I doth pray 1,000 prayers for his humiliation.
Dante's comedy is so bad that it makes Shakespeare's comedy look good by comparison.
He really needs to lie low for a while. Stay out of the public eye.
He's right on, man!
He is so adorable, but that hat needs to go.
Alright, well, the writing community is still adjusting to Dante's career change.
Yeah, but that was the last time somebody plowed in between your legs, chick. Help me! What's shaking?
Socrates, is that you?
Oh, you know it, broski! Dude, what's up?
Are you still drinking hemlock poison?
Oh, come on, when did I stop here? Don't be a Persian,
What?
try some.
That's not half bad.
That's fucking right.
Wait a minute. My eyes! I can see! Look at your face! My eyes! Must have fixed my eyes.
Yeah, okay. Jupiter! Show me your moons!
Copy of the autograph I gave to Virgil?
At long last, we found the answer to everyone's question. Dante Alighieri is not only looked upon as a great poet and writer, but also as a friend, a humanitarian, and most importantly, a stand-up comedian.
Ah! You dirty thief! You stole my stuff! I'm gonna put you in a box of drawers and give you to a Cyclops!
Not gonna say anything.